I was trying to figure out how to start this conversation because it's not an interview; it's a conversation with someone I've really grown to respect and love. And I thought, what better moment than to bring out a clip from the Golden Globes where Spartacus came out on stage with his daughter-in-law, and it was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. And before we even get into the conversation, I want to welcome her to the show, Catherine Zeta-Jones, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. What a treat to be here.
You have an incredible story. I've learned a lot about you in recent weeks, and I'll explain that to you in a moment. But how's your father-in-law?
He is just, he's 101,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
He's just and he's just so inspirational.
Uh-huh.
He's just so funny and smart,
Yeah.
and he's doesn't get around as quick as he used to get around, but he is just. He's just an amazing lesson to me. So for me to be at the Golden Globes the other Sunday night, whenever it was, and to be able to have this great relationship with him, and just to stand back and just observe his reaction to that wonderful reception, because you think, okay, he's a legend, living legend. He's Kirk Douglas, but that's going to keep him going for another year.
Exactly.
Because, I've been very lucky to have my grandparents with me for longer than many. And it's certain, things that just keep him going. Yes. And you just that. I got to tell you a funny story, though. I went to his house for dinner with my stepmother and my mother-in-law. And she... Anyway, we did a rehearsal as two actors would do, and I had a little code that I'd touch his back when it's his time to speak. So I did it once, and then it was his time to speak, and I touched his back. He went, "What? Is it my turn?" I went, "Yeah, come on, let's do it." I'm so glad I brought this rehearsal thing up. Yeah, So we did it again, and I said, "Right, that's it. We nailed it. If we do it like that, it's going to be great." And then he said, "Why do you have more lines than me?" I said, "Because I'm not 101 years old. I haven't had a helicopter crash, and I haven't had a stroke. Right. So they must have gone, okay, give the girl, the lines, and just give Kirk Douglas a little easy go of it." But he was so funny, and I was just really, really memorable for me.
Yeah. I would imagine, because between you, Kirk, Michael, the just history, Hollywood in itself. You being a little girl from Wales, do you ever look around? I know you put your work in, but do you ever look around and go, wow, this is my life?
Yeah, I do. I do. For example, just talk about Golden Globes, I get starstruck, because yes, it's a big life, it's big careers, but at the end of the day, we're a very close-knit family. We're very, once the Michael Douglas and the Catherine Zeta-Jones come out of, go in behind the four walls, which is, with our kids, we have a very, very close relationship. Yeah. And so sometimes, I'm living in my bubble, and then I walk down the red carpet and I see people, I go, "Oh my God, did you see who just walked past me?" And, and my brother came with me this last time, and he goes, "God, you never surprise me. You just still get a kick." I said, I think when I don't get a kick out of this business, it's time to hang it up, right?
Oh, right.
It's time to call it a day, and I still love what I do, and I love the kind of camaraderie that surrounds the industry. But on saying, going back to your original question, I pinch myself every day. I've only ever worked in this business. I started in the theater when I was 9 years old, and I kind of sacrificed a few things, but...
You dropped out of high school?
Yeah, I dropped out of high school with okay, if it doesn't work out, you've got to go back, which would have been fine for me because I love learning, I love education, but I knew that I wasn't going to be... I needed to get out of Wales as much as I love it. I needed to go to the big city in London. That's where I could work. And so I did, and I worked hard, but you can be the hardest, worker in life, but you needed something that's a little bit different, and people say, "Oh, you're so lucky," and I go, "Yeah, I'm lucky, but it's weird, the harder I've worked, the luckier I got, I still have that kind of
that's interesting.
Working mentality. It's like, yeah, I'm lucky. You have to be lucky. You don't have to be lucky to wake up in the morning in this time and this age in this country in this world in this but yes, I have been lucky, but I always remember that it doesn't come from just, rolling a die.
Yeah.
It comes from planning and working and loving what you do. And I'm sure that everyone in this room,
Yeah.
when you love what you do, it just doesn't seem like work.
Wow. Catherine Zeta-Jones said, you know why this is kind of fascinating for me? I just did the audio book for Damon Johns.
Oh, I didn't know that connection.
Seek, Rise, and Grind. And in it, I did research before I read people's stories. And I was reading about your story and Casa Zeta-Jones.
That's right, yeah.
And how successful you've been as a business, interior decorator, and more.
Yeah.
And in this book, it talks about some of the habits that certain people have that have been successful. And one of the things you like to do is travel with candles.
Yeah.
What is that?
I think it's because, coming from Wales, going to London at 15, well, I was 9 when I first went, but I had tutors and chaperones then. But when I 15, on the road, doing touring theatre, coming from London to America, LA, back here, I always have to wake up and create an environment in which I feel my safest, you know? And that's like lighting candles, having a bit of a routine, being a little bit disciplined, sometimes, and just creating a world in which I feel safe. Yeah. And then I can go out and face the world because that's so great. You know how I met Damon, right?
How did you? Well, you tell me how you met. He told me a story, but his stories are quick.
Yeah. Yeah. But my story is pretty well. I was a Shark Tank fan. Talk about being in my four walls, in my bubble. Me, Michael Douglas, and my 2 kids don't watch movies. We watch Shark Tank, and then we discuss, what deal we should give them. And anyway, but we don't just once a week, like on the loop. Like, we watch it on a loop, and then we even watch the ones that we've seen before. So I've been looking to do a brand that's very personal to me because I do interior house decorating myself. My mother was a seamstress and all that stuff. I sew. And I've got years and years and years and years of files of stuff of a dream that never was coming to fruition. And I went, I feel the time's right now. And I met like 5 or 6 different people and I just went, I'm sorry, I just don't want to hang with you, let alone make a business with you.
That makes a difference.
And this has got to be fun. If I'm going to go out and do this, I don't really need to do this. I want it to be fun.
Yeah.
So I go, I'm going to call up that guy on Shark Tank because he's the one I want to work with. If I was on that show, I wanted him.
Yeah.
I just had a real good gut feel, like a sense, So I called him up and he's like, whoa, the celebrity brands, I don't know. I said, well, I don't think you understand. It's like, I'm really passionate about this. And he said, well, send me some files. And he was just, of course, very charming.
Yeah.
But he wasn't like, yeah, let's do it. He was really giving me all the bad things that was going to happen. So I sent him, within 15 minutes of getting off the phone, like about 25 electronic files. He went, whoa, I guess you've been thinking about this for a while. And anyway, through a course of like nearly 2 years, we're now business partners, and it's just the best. Everything that I want is I'm creative and I've got a great team and I got a partner who really believes in me and it makes every day with him fun. So
wow, see, this is the life. I like your life, Catherine Zeta-Jones. You hang out with the kids and your husband and y'all watch Shark Tank. you go to dinner with the mother-in-laws and the I don't know all the different dynamics, but you know.
Family.
Your family. You live in a bubble and the red carpet still excites you.
Yeah.
That's who Catherine Zeta-Jones is. Businesswoman, mom, wife. Glad we met. All right, we got to talk about this movie, though. Cocaine Godmother, the Griselda Blanco story, premiering Saturday at 8 p.m. on Lifetime TV.
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to open up the phone lines, and then we'll come back and talk about the movie.
Yep.
888-742-3345.
Young Money.
No. Catherine, clean that up. We're going to do something different here. You listen to music. You're a music lover.
Yeah.
Hold on. Who do you like? Who do you listen to?
Oh my gosh, it's so eclectic. I'm kind of old school. I'm like a lot of R&B. I'm ELO. I'm really. I mean, I'm still fly the flag for the Brits. When they invaded, not only in the '60s but when they came in the '80s.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
So, but anyway, I'm a huge ELO fan. I love the Stones.
Okay.
For me, I sing and and I play a little piano. So if I were to be in another life, I'm going to come back as Alicia Keys or
Alicia
Adele
Keys.
or Carol Gayle King, or anyone who can sit at a piano and sing. Because in my private time, I just go and play a little and sing, and it just gives me like a wonderful therapy.
Can we hear a little? Please. Of you singing?
What do you want me to sing?
Ooh, we got
said Alicia Keys.
Okay, I'll
Alicia Keys. Superwoman. No, not Superwoman.
Superwoman. I'm
not
not singing that.
Fallen.
No,
Okay.
no, I'm not singing. I'll come back and sing.
Okay,
I'll
we'll
come back and sing on the
Ah,
piano.
damn, we talked her out of it.
I know. I'm just
But
thinking
we'll
what
think
I
about
play.
it. We'll come back. Think about it. You might feel differently.
Yeah.
When I come back, I'll bring my keyboard, and I'll do a whole set for you. Don't get me going.
Don't
get
say that.
me going.
I see your people over there in the corner. She said that.
No, they know. No, I was doing an interview the other day in a hotel, and every time I walked past the lobby, there were two pianos, like one on one end and one on the end. She was like, "Don't get on the piano. We got to keep moving. We got to keep moving. We got things to do." And every time I walked by, I went, "Oh no."
You can't do. Okay, well, we got a studio here and everything. We'll come back. Okay, Catherine Zeta-Jones, 888-742-3345. Call us. Wow, that was a clip from the movie Cocaine Godmother, the Griselda Blanco story. Griselda Blanco is being played by somebody pretty much nailed the role. I got a chance to watch it. Catherine Zeta-Jones, who's here with us right now. That particular scene, too, for some reason, as violent as this person was, there was something sexy about her.
Well, when I first heard about Griselda Blanco, it was from a fantastic documentary called Cocaine Cowboys. But they were talking about her, but she was a real paranoid, reclusive person because everybody wanted her dead for obvious reasons. But they talked about this woman in a way that she was revered, she was feared, she was attractive to them. She was repulsive to them. All these different, and these are men in a very dark, dangerous world at that time in the 70s in Miami, where that was the nucleus of the beginnings of this of drugs coming into the country, and the cartels against cartels, and the woman. It was a woman who was running the show for a long time.
Yeah.
Pablo Escobar was working alongside her. Now, so we know about the Pablo Escobars, and of course since El Chapo's, and we never hear about a woman in that world. We hear about victims, but we don't hear about the woman who is doing the supply and demand. But a woman that, for an actor to be able to get under the skin of her, so layered, so. Nothing. The polar opposite of what I believe in morally. She has no redeeming quality. She was, and I didn't want to justify her. I didn't want to find some thread that would make the audience like her or understand her. There's no understanding this woman.
Yeah.
She named her son Michael Corleone. From The Godfather.
From the movie.
Right. Now, she's upset. I never got to meet her because she was deceased before this even came to fruition. But I always thought of her as being like the movie star in her own head, in her own movie, where she's writing the plot, she's casting it, and then taking them away if she doesn't want them. She's like playing the perfect chess game in her head. Brilliant when you think of what she's devised. I mean, brilliant the way in which she run a business. I wouldn't like every other woman to take heed and go off and do the same thing. But of all the things that I detest about Griselda, I have to admire her strength of character and how in a man's world she was able to sustain such power.
I was going to ask you, can women feel empowered by that?
Right.
Considering what she was doing, do you take pride in that?
I did.
Yeah.
That is it. I mean, I have to give it to her. Like I don't. Like I said, I don't recommend us all changing professions here, but she really was a piece of work and a force to be reckoned with. And it's funny because when I watched it, I was trying to just put in, because I really think that she had a sixth sense of humor. I mean, to call your son Michael Corleone from The Godfather, we didn't even get to the fact that she called her dog Hitler.
Her dog was named Hitler?
Yes, her dog was named Hitler. So there's a sick, sociopathic mind that for an actor, it's just, everyone says it, but to play the guys or girls who are a bit bad is always more fun.
Yeah, that's a golden role for you. Yeah, you seem guilty that you played this role. Like
I kind of liked her, and now because I've been wanting to play this role for like over 3.5 years.
Yeah,
and it comes out tomorrow. You're my last. Like I got one interview after you to do, and then she is being put to bed.
Yeah.
So I feel such a strange emotion about this. You'd think I'd be so happy to get rid of this woman, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of don't. I just gonna. Because I kind of lived her for like 3.5 years, so it's a bit of an exorcism between tonight, Saturday night, and the Sunday. Monday, I'm going to be back to good old Kath.
Yeah, right.
I'll be breeding chicks before you know it.
Before you and watching Shark Tank around the room with the family. Did you come home with Griselda at all and was bossing Michael around? Like, did that happen? Did you find that coming out at times?
Well, I shot on location.
Okay.
And I don't usually like to shoot on location because I miss my babes and I miss my hubby and my dogs and my little four walls. But for her, it was essential because I was working like 16, 17 hours a day.
Okay.
We were like non-stop, and it was pretty intense emotionally for me in some days, well, a lot of days. But when I was leaving to the airport, Michael and I never read each other material. We don't kind of give unsolicited advice. I only on the golf course.
Okay.
And I whip his ass. And he should really listen to me, but he doesn't. He doesn't.
You can't teach him that now.
In business, in work, we go, okay, you don't listen to how you should really do a backswing. Anyway. So as I was leaving to the airport to go shoot, he said, just think of one thing. I'm going to give you one thing to think about, darling. And I went, okay. He said, you don't need to do much. And I went, oh, God, what do you mean? Because this is probably the most multi-layered, multifaceted character I've ever got. What do you mean I haven't got to do much? She's got so much. And he went, no, you don't have to do much because you are at your most terrifying when you do absolutely nothing. Wow.
Yeah.
Really? After 19 years, I just do nothing and I scare the beweezies out of you.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
That
Good
means
to know.
something
Good to know. Do nothing.
Heather, you want to ask Catherine something?
Yeah, I'm fascinated because Sway mentioned home, and I just love the idea. We were talking about food and everything while the music was playing. What should we know about Catherine Zeta-Jones when you're like home and chilling? When rappers get together, a lot of times you'd be surprised. You walk in their house, they're listening to gospel music. Like, would I walk into your house and hear you rapping?
You won't hear me. You certainly hear me on the piano, or my son my son plays bass, and my daughter plays piano. And every now and again, Michael kind of tries to do a bit of a harmony, but he's not the musical one of the family. So we become a bit like the Osmonds. Is like, let's put this on the road, kids. And then I go on. I bought my son. My son plays drums, so I bought him vicariously. I live through my children. If I want something, I buy it for them. As is the most fantastic electronic drum kit that he got last year. It's like the best drummer in the world will be really happy with this. And it's like Michael said, wow, I didn't realize he was that good. He needed all that stuff. I went, if you're going to buy a drum kit, you may as well buy a drum kit, right? So I've got this, I got a swivel chair. I got to go way behind me to get, and we just have so much fun. And then, with garage bands and all that stuff, we just start layering on throughout the day.
Funny.
And by the weekend, we got a bit of a song going on. And then, but Michael's all like, woo, and like, I don't know. You got a lot in life. You didn't get that gene. But so that's what we do, and fun. We watch history. We're complete history buffs.
That's the same as me. You watching History Channel?
History, I mean, any world war. I hate to say it, but I've seen it in Technicolor. I've seen it from every aspect, from every
Vietnam War.
My son is going to be doing European history in college this September. We're just fascinated by history, and so we're always watching something on a loop.
Nice.
Before you go, I got to ask you this, because Heather asked you this music question, and it's one of the biggest music stars in the world has mentioned you in a song. And I'm going to play the piece. It's a song called Plain Jane. It's a remix with A$AP Ferg featuring Nicki Minaj.
I don't keep up with the Joneses, but I do know Catherine Zeta. I'm with Candace, I got hola mi amiga.
How long have you known Nicki?
I love that! Why am I the last person on this planet to know about that? You wait till I tell my daughter. I'm so stoked. I am so happy you made my day, my friend.
Absolutely.
I know her from, which is always a good thing, from charity events. Good old Nick, she always turns up, you know, and as do I if I'm around. And it's just from hi. So I'm sure we don't know each other very well, but I am so stoked.
There it is.
She's gonna be
Made my
rapping
day.
now,
She's
Sway.
gonna be rapping.
Because it was like, why can't I be the Michelle Pfeiffer in that song? Why no one's written anything about me?
Now you got you got the biggest
yeah.
you got one
Oh,
of
yeah.
the biggest voices in music
I'm
mentioning you.
loving it.
You made it, Catherine.
I've done it. That's it. I wish I want to be in the video. I should get my agent, my people onto her people.
It's gonna happen now.
I love
Shout us
that.
out, Sway in the morning.
I love it.
Okay, congratulations, Griselda Blanco.
Thank you,
the
everybody, for
cocaine
having me. It's been
godmother.
so much fun.
Absolutely, the Griselda Blanco story. That's premiering Saturday the 20th, 8 p.m. on Lifetime. Make sure you watch it. Thank you for coming
What
by.
a treat. Thank you
absolutely.
so much.
You officially a citizen too.
Sway in the
All
morning.
right,
yeah.
there it is. All right, Shade 4 or 5.
It's Sway in the morning, only on Shade 45.